It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 go!
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
We're going to go ahead and the media center. Those of you who wish to join us, please come on over and have a seat. Jeff is third in the series points. What's your outlook going into this weekend?
Well, I think we've. Which one of these am I supposed to be talking to? Okay. I feel like I'm getting beat up by microphones. We haven't run as well here as we'd like to. We've had a couple good races here since I've been at RCR, but nothing to the extent of success that we want to have. We've worked hard on this program, on the 1 mile flat track program, Richmond, Phoenix, New Hampshire. We put a lot of effort into it, but we've yet to prove that we've got what we need. We ran really well at Martinsville earlier in the year, but we didn't perform as well at Richmond and at Phoenix as we'd like to. So, we come here looking a little bit, searching a little bit, trying to find a way to be better, and that's what our goal is.
Let's take questions for Jeff. Please state your name and affiliation and raise your hand for the microphone. We'll go Dustin and then Jim.
Dustin Long, Landmark Newspapers. Jeff, right now in this series there are two guys who've been with the same Cup team for 10 or more years. You go back a few years ago, there were like half a dozen. And certainly, as you see this evolve, what are you seeing in regards to this sport? Is it a case of, is this another sign of youth pushing its way in, teams being less patient with drivers for success? I mean, I know you were there. Everybody's got a different situation, but I know you were at Roush for a while and made a change. Why are we seeing not as much longevity in the sport with one team?
Well, I think there's a couple factors. I think that drivers are retiring earlier than in the past. We do have a willingness to invest in youth, as opposed to when just before I came into the sport, people were really nervous about young drivers. They didn't really give young drivers much of a chance. Today, young drivers do get those chances with really good teams. And if you're going to make room for somebody, then somebody's got to go. And that's just how that works. It works in our business. It works in every business. Especially in sports. So an investment in youth has been a factor. That's probably been the biggest factor. Is that when you're a team owner, it's hard to go put a deal together with, when Kurt Busch left, that was a really big deal because drivers having success somewhere really don't leave. That's an unusual thing. We really don't see that a lot. So once somebody does get entrenched with their company, I think it takes a lot of things going wrong for them to want to move. I think there's a lot of things that have to go wrong for the drivers, for the owners to want them to move as well. So I think there's probably a lot of factors, but certainly the willingness for teams and sponsors to go out and make an investment in somebody else, they've been much more willing to do that today than as opposed to what I think it appeared to be 15 years ago.
So if you're with the team for 6 years or more, that's going to be considered a long term now?
No, I think that we'll see. I think if you think about it, most for what, I don't know how it worked out like this, but most driver contracts, sponsor contracts are 3-year periods. Why, I don't know, but that's kind of how it works. I think that a 6-year term is going to be normal. A 3-year is going to be short. I believe that one thing that's going to happen is this sport becomes bigger and the money becomes bigger. You're going to see contracts become more sturdy and have more legs. And in some ways, the exit clauses will be spelled out better, which will allow an easier exit. In some ways, they will be spelled out so it allows a harder exit. That's going to be a factor as well. You know, it's been an interesting dynamic in our sport. If a car owner gets tired of a driver, you know, he's been, you know, it's been kind of odd. They've been able to say, okay, we don't want you anymore, and the driver's just kind of off and out without a whole lot of recourse. But if a driver stands up and says, I want to leave, they say, well, you can't leave, you got a contract. So it's been a, you know, it's been a very owner-sided contracts in the past, and I think you're going to see a shift into more equal contracts, which will have, I don't know what kind of impact it'll have, but it will have an impact.
Yes, see more movement. It would seem to be allow more movement to give drivers more freedom to move.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't, you know, I can't, I think that, I don't know what that impact's going to be, but it is going to have an impact.
Jim Noble, Fox Sports Net. I know about a month ago you referred to this middle part of the season as the grind, and you've already talked about this weekend, obvious. You got 2 more races before you get an off week. You've got Daytona and Chicago. Can you just talk to me about your mindset about going through those last 2 races before you get to
3 races.
exhale?
You got 3 races.
You get 3 races, and then before you get to exhale a little bit.
My grind is very clear. It's 3 more races, but that's mentally how I do it. And you know, we have 3 more races to try to perform really well in, and then we get to kind of catch our breath. And we've tested a lot. We've asked a lot out of our team. You know, and we've done that in hopes that when the summer gets here, we can not relax, but we can take, you know, a little bit of time, recharge, re-energize, because when that little recharge is over, it's going to get big. We're gonna hit it really hard, and you know, that's our strategy. So for me, you know, when it starts to get hot and the points start to, you know, we race for points every week. It starts at the Daytona 500, but the reality of your situation doesn't set in until about, you know, this time of year. You know, you got a lot of people looking and saying, oh my God, I'm 15th, I got to find a way to 12th. You got people that are 3rd saying, oh my God, I got to find a way to stay here. You know, it's pressure for everybody. You got 35th place guy wanting to stay there. You got, I mean, it's pressure throughout the field. And the hotter the temperatures get, the harder it is to make the cars handle, the harder it is to do what you needed to do, and the pressure just builds and builds and builds. So this is the hardest time of the year, in my opinion.